Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, just...
Is it started?
No, it's not started.
It has, You're not cutting that.
What, you want me to keep that in?
Nah, you
Not
start
really.
the show off like a twat.
I was having a laugh.
Oh, I'm pissing myself here.
Oh, that's nice.
It's raging the
Nice to
day.
see you. I know, that's it. The minute 5 minutes you've been in this room, you've slaughtered me saying I think Christopher Isle should be in the team of the season.
Just never seen someone have such a shit season being a team of the season.
He's not. He's been Celtic's best player. Right,
No,
no,
exactly.
right, we'll move on. We'll move off the fucking. We'll move off that. That's for another video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, episode number 57. David, you were on live yesterday, so I'll bypass you right
Missed
away.
no days off. Back again.
Come to Div. Good weekend, huh?
Aye, mate.
Had a smashing weekend.
Brilliant.
Wasn't watching the football, so.
No,
Missed
That helps.
something happened.
Maybe you were the charm that made them.
Do you know what? I was thinking that myself.
Did you watch the St Mirren game early in the season?
No.
That's it. There you go, mate. You're the fault.
Mate, I actually didn't. That's probably the two only games I've not
So
seen
the
all
two the
season.
rest
I
of
think
the
you
games
picked the
I've
right
lost.
games to miss, I suppose, but Christ
Mate, what the
almighty.
hell?
You know what's that now?
I just noticed it now. Thanks for pointing it
Got a
out.
joke for you. You
Oh
like
my
this?
god, you got
Yeah,
you
that's
me
what-
joke today?
No.
Who's that?
Wendy.
Wendy who?
Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
That was a good one. Enjoyed that. That's the best part of this podcast, double. It's alright. Look, my season has been long and hard, right? Any sort of a feeling of jubilation I can get, I'm taking. Look, in all seriousness, right? I have an absolute cheek to sit here and slag in.
Oh, I've been loving it yesterday watching the Rangers fans have meltdown. They've had it all their own fucking way all season. They deserved a bit of...
It's funny, but
Yeah,
at the
it's
same
hilarious.
time, you know, I have a
But
cheek
it's
to
alright,
talk.
though.
I have a cheek to talk. Let's jump onto that. Let's start
He's
off.
fuming.
If I could turn back time. I had to watch the game.
You watch the game? You should still get fucking beat.
No.
Mate, you just pipe yourself down, alright?
Right, let's. He's got to be the moderator.
Everybody just calm down, yeah.
No, in all honesty.
Balogun who?
Let's do it. Right, whoa, let's just. Was Balogun playing the other day? No.
No.
No
That's why
play.
they lost.
Is that where they lost?
Yeah.
Right, well. Anyway, Rangers out the Cup. St Johnstone win it on penalties. Xander Clark, the hero. Although his goal never counted, we were just.
We were talking about this before he came on air. He should be fucking embarrassed of himself. 4 yards out and he missed a target.
No man on him either.
Exactly. That is
Some size
embarrassing.
of a bar on him, I know he's got to score.
So he's putting it wide. And then
I'm sure he'll take the assist, but
Just
Who's
hits
it put him?
Chris
Is
Kane.
it Chris Kane?
Chris Kane doesn't put it in, it hits Chris Kane and goes in. He has no clue about it.
it's one of the maddest goals ever.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones. I was watching work, and we were on a break at the time, and my mate Cal McKenzie for the podcast, he shouted.
The other podcast.
The
not
other
this
podcast. He's like that to me. It's 117th minute. Tavern. I was like, put it fucking away, lucky bastards. I was raging.
Mate, I was told the exact same thing.
Lucky bastards. So I put it away, and then somebody comes running in. Honestly, just stoats into the fucking break room. They're like, Xander Clark's just scored. I was like, what? And looked up. Then it was Xander Clark's apparently scored for St Johnstone. Away penalties. Bang, bang, bang. Penalty shout done. Rangers are out.
It didn't surprise me too much that St Johnstone got a winner because it did feel like it just had a feeling what it was going to be their day. To me, it did anyway.
Yeah, they
because
deserved more. I thought.
Well, I mean,
thought
Rangers
they-
had lots of chances.
Yeah,
Xander Clark was fantastic.
Let's not take away the fact
in
that
120 minutes, but Saints had a couple of big chances
Yeah.
as well. Al McGregor had a couple of big saves, and the way they kept in the game. You know, I know that the Rangers had chances, but it wasn't like, you know, they were carving them open time and time again. And I just thought the longer they stayed in the game, there was just maybe it was the fact that I've backed them for both cups that I just felt they were going to do something.
That's
But
just the thing that kept replaying in my mind. You saying they were going to get a double, saying they were going to on the game. Like it's bitterly disappointing. Like you asked who. Is that what he said?
Always.
That's Jim.
bitterly
It was bitterly disappointing.
I was addicted. I'm taking that one, but no, it was. For what I seen about 20 minutes of the game, and it looked slow. It looked lethargic. For the Rangers players, it didn't look like they were at the races, and it appears that they've just kind of packed their bags after they've won the league.
Yep.
But you've got it.
You
Well,
gotta
massive
give
favourites. Like
you gotta
I
give
didn't know what to
credit
say, to be quite honest.
You've got to give credit to St Johnstone in this case.
That's what I was going to do.
You've got to
Give
give
credit
massive
to.
credit to them.
Got to give them credit because they're organised.
Not one player from them in the team this season. I'm unbelievable.
I know, he's
from my
given his
opinion.
team this season,
But,
yeah.
hey, well.
Well, it wasn't my final team.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't my final team of the season. I've not published it.
Anyway, yeah, but I there's a load of questions I want to ask Steph about this because
Oh, aye.
am I not allowed to do that now?
No, I'm saying, no, I'm agreeing with you.
okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
I think Cat's got my tongue anyway. So.
Well, I
I
can't.
no comment.
I can't understand why, because I've been thinking it for a few. Well, see, I think since like the turn of the year, there's been a handful of performances when Rangers have been brilliant. only really a handful. See, a lot of games they've won, I've been like, not really getting going here. They're doing enough, but now I'm wondering if maybe that is what's caused this. Not having to play at the absolute top level every week. So that even the Old Firm last week, they didn't really need to be 100% at it to win the game. So then it's just kind of crept up on them that, holy shit, we've kind of not done enough here. And they do look tired. I think they look knackered, which is strange. Because,
tired, that's what it is.
But they do look knackered, but there's not been that much intensity. So I can't really get my head around what's going wrong. Because if that's a league game, they win it.
I don't know myself.
Do you know what I mean? It's strange.
A lot of the time I've thought to myself, when Rangers have got a week in between games, they're not the same team. They're better when they're Thursday, Sunday or whatever. And I know that we did play midweek versus St Johnstone, but there was a lot of players rested. So I don't know if that's the kind that these players need to play constantly, and that's when they're at their absolute best. I also don't know if they went into the game thinking that they just had to show up because they've put Celtic out the week before. It certainly seemed that way to an extent, because how can you go and put in the first half against Celtic, like get the job done against Celtic, and then you go and you're not really doing anything versus St Johnstone? I mean, I know we had a couple chances. Morelos had a couple chances. I think there was a breakaway, and Kamara probably should have scored in the first half as well. But you've got to do more, in my opinion. But as you say, I've got to give credit to St Johnstone, because they know how to play in these cups, and they're very organised. They're very streetwise as well. Maybe that's something Rangers need to improve on, because they're physical. St Johnstone, they get in your face, they lay one on you, and maybe Rangers were lacking that to a certain extent, trying to be too cute, trying to be too clever. And sometimes when you come up against a team like St Johnstone and they sit in and stuff like that, and they're very organised, you just come unstuck. I mean, you would think with Tav getting the goal, what a weird goal, by the way, as well. He just kind of floats into an area. I said midweek, I'll play striker.
Mate, he can play.
And he actually floats into
He's got a
very
wonderful
good
knack
area.
of doing that at the back post.
It's strange. It is
especially.
a striker's instinct, and it's a great finish. And you're just thinking at that point, see the game out. And they don't do that.
Oh, I actually, this might sound weird, because I'm going to read something that you posted on Twitter verbatim, because I think that you actually made a very good point after the game.
That's a first.
Because there was a lot of Rangers fans.
Very measured tweet from yourself.
A lot of
actually.
Rangers
Could tell you
fans
didn't watch the game.
a lot of Rangers fans suddenly jump into either you had one side jumping to the whole fucking blah blah blah, they were jumping to the panic state. There was a kind of mixed reaction, but you were very level-headed. You said, sorry to state the obvious, but we still have improving to do. For you, fresh faces in the summer would be nice. Building what has been a great league season, try to conquer some cups. Also, some players need to remember that every game for Rangers is massive, zero room for error. Now, the reason I bring up that tweet now is because I want to move on to that whole conversation about why is this happening in the cups. What is the problem with Steven Gerrard's Rangers that they can't do the business in the cups? Because it's like we laughed and joked about it when Rangers went out to St Mirren. Like, oh, pressure's on, they couldn't do it, but now it's happened again. See,
the St Mirren game I could make an excuse for, because he made a lot of changes in that, and it was only when Rangers went down to 10 men where they end up getting back into the game. I think Rangers didn't have a centre half on, or they only had Connor Golson on at one point because they'd made so many substitutes, so I kind of made an excuse at that point. But this one, you've got a full strength team out there. There's absolutely no excuses. The only thing I can think of is that they just weren't up for it, and St Johnstone wanted it more, and that was equaliser. Because man for man, you can't argue that Rangers have got the better players. 100%. But see, when a team like St Johnstone come up against you and they want it more than you, can be the equaliser. And it turned out that it was. I mean, the 122nd minute, and they're still running their pans in. Michael Halloran came off the bench, I'm sure. Rangers should know that he's got pace. He's got pace to burn.
He's got fuck all else.
He's got fuck all else, right? But he had a big chance, and Al McGregor made a really good save, a top save, because it almost sneaks under him. And you think to yourself when you see that, oh, they've got away with one there. But then he gets down the right hand side. They make a block, goes out for a corner, but the defending is just
poor.
It's poor.
Non-existent.
I know that.
It was very. Do you know what it was? It was very Celtic-esque. That's what it was.
I know, but
it's
a goalkeeper, right? So what you're needing there is a bit of communication. Even leave a man spare on the edge of the box if it needs to happen, because Xander Clark's right in your 6-yard box. He's fucking one of the tallest guys in the park. I know that he almost fluffed his lines, right? But he'll not be caring.
No.
Because it went to Kane's fit and it goes in.
Anyway, so.
And that probably just sapped the energy right out of Rangers.
I've never seen a goalie go up for a corner and somebody doesn't pick him up.
Because most of the time they just fluff the lines.
Because how many times, Kieran brought us up the live show yesterday, how many times have you watched a game live and seen a goalkeeper actually have an impact from these
without making an asset? But also, there's always somebody gets chucked on him. Somebody always picks him up, whether it's a striker
Exactly,
comes back
and that's
or
why you
something.
never see it happen.
And even somebody coming off the post. We still had Davis on the post. I know that's important,
Yeah.
but it's more important picking up a man. So Pat, there needed to be more communication. I think you can hear in the video as well, as the ball's coming in, a Rangers player shouting that he's free. But it's too late at that point. Because the ball's on his napper and it's heading towards the goal. And as I said, probably sapped the... When you concede like that, it probably did sap the confidence of the players a wee bit. The Tavernier penalty, I don't think it's a bad penalty. He tries to go down the middle. It's no one his best.
I thought it was a tired penalty.
But the Kemar Roof one is a poor penalty. A very poor penalty.
I thought the Tavernier one was a poor penalty as well, if I'm honest. I didn't think it was a good penalty. From him, you expect your main man, your talisman on the spot. You expect him just to...
I've seen a lot of people... I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that he has to come off the penalties. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree. I still think he's the best penalty taker.
But I don't think he should have been taken first, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because I thought about this when I was watching the penalties. I remember watching a video, and it was Rafa Benitez talking about 2005 Champions League final, and his order for the penalty takers were: he had Liverpool took 4 penalties, 3 of them were subs, and one of them was John Arisa, who played the 120 minutes. John Arisa, but John Arisa missed. And he played the 120 minutes. 3 that scored were the substitutes.
Yeah.
So his thing was, you put the guys that got fresh legs on him. And I watched Tavernier last night. I thought he looked to me like a guy who's not played much football and has just played 120 minutes.
Maybe so he tries to go down the middle.
Yeah.
And I know where you're coming from, but I just comparing it to the Roof penalty, I thought the Roof one was very poor. But you've got to give credit to Clark again. He makes the saves and he's a hero at the end of the day. And Rangers go out.
I think Gerrard will be fuming, and I think he'll absolutely go through them after the back of this.
100%, because what he said midweek was game management. Kemar Roof takes a shot for 35 yards, a 1-0 up versus St Johnstone away. You don't need to do it, just take it to the corner. And they've done it sometimes this season, but there has also been elements this season of game management and maybe just turning off a wee bit. When you score in the 117th minute, should not be conceded, especially a goal like that. So there was people on Twitter I seen that were having a go at Rangers fans for being annoyed at going out because of the season that we had, the impeccable season in the league. But at the end of the day, right, are they Polish?
That's a Polish,
hopefully that's for whoever was Martin fucking Xander Clark. At the end of the day, but when you're at a club like Rangers and you're playing in the cup, it's always a disaster when you go out.
Especially when Celtic are in the cup.
Especially when you've got favourites to win it.
Massive favourites. You're massive favourites. So
because I would be raging if it was I would be fucking fuming if it was Celtic.
100%. So the players deserve all the criticism there, and what I was saying in the tweet is
it was Celtic the round before.
And I was fuming. But if I was in a situation which Celtic have been and we capitalised on it, when Rangers have went.
Well, just look at how Hibs fans reacted to the League Cup semi-finals. They all wanted Jack Ross sacked after that because Hibs should have won the cup.
This is actually the point I want to come in next. Look, I have tried to look at this, and I think I have. I've been very level-headed about all this. I think there's been a lot of Celtic fans who have been, right at the wind-up, and rightfully so. We've had a very shit season. We'll take anything we can get, but I've been very level-headed. I put up one tweet about comparing this side to the invincible Celtic side.
See, I just think that's dumb.
That's for a different day. That's not what I want to come up to now. What I want to come to just now, what's dumb?
Who's comparing them to the 16-17 team?
Oh, there was a lot.
Most of the people that I see talking about it are Celtic fans.
No, it's mostly the media.
But most of these comparisons...
So the media and Celtic...
But also, really, what is the point in these comparisons?
No, but that's not what I want to come in anyway. Let's move past that, because that's not what I want to talk about at all. What I want to talk about is the whole... So Rangers being knocked out the cup, it's obviously quite disastrous in a sense when you are the favourites. But I've been level-headed, I've not really said much. But I do kind of get this argument people are making now, right? So why, when and this isn't me having a dig, I just want to hear your opinions to this, right? So why, when Ronnie Dyla won the double, right? He won a double in 2015-16 and got hounded.
They just went in the league, mate.
I know, but right, okay, but there was no competition this season. But hold on, this is what point. But Gerrard, when he wins the league, is apparently God in Glasgow and the next Liverpool manager.
Because they just haven't won a league title.
Yeah, I know. So is it just because of the sheer emotion? Because if this was
also a financial thing,
if that was Neil Lennon this season, I think he would have been hounded. If he was to win the league and get knocked out the cups in the fashion that Rangers have, he would have been
nonsense.
If Neil Lennon won 10 in a row,
he'd get hounded. Have a word with yourself.
Get knocked out the cups.
If Neil Lennon won the 10, you'd be building a statue.
No. But at the start of the season, I agree. Because at the start of the season, I agree that that's all that mattered. We all said that. Well, I couldn't care about the cups this year. I want us to. But if he was knocked out of the cups by St Johnstone and St Mirren in the early rounds. And the papers.
But how can you change from everyone saying all that matters is 10 to now it doesn't happen theoretically?
The point of the matter is what I'm making is, why is Gerrard a god in Glasgow for all this? Because
of what he's done. I don't think it's to do with his ability. I think most level-headed fans can concede that Steven Gerrard is much in his infancy and he shows great promise.
See, I'm
Ronnie Dylan inherited a league-winning team with Rangers out of the league for 3 to 4 years. Gerrard inherited a team that was miles behind Celtic.
No,
Celtic team.
Gerrard inherited a team which is very much the same as just now.
No, it's not.
You look at the starting 11 of Gerrard's first game. I think.
Okay. Well, I'll use your point against you then, right? How far behind that Celtic were they? And he's taking that team that you say is pretty much the same.
Of course.
And he's taking them up to being as good as this all-conquering
the
invincible treble.
About competition, because people go, Celtic had no competition, but Rangers have had no
but there's a
competition
difference.
this year.
I know, I get that. I agree with you in the fact that Celtic have been shit. So this whole no competition argument about the treble is ridiculous. But the Ronnie Dial thing is completely different. There's a difference between no competition and just Rangers not being in the league. That's a completely different thing.
My point is, and my point has always been, I couldn't care less of the competition. That's why I give this Rangers team their credit. I'm not on the side of trying to take everything away from Rangers. They should be very proud of going to Scotland.
But we're saying that Rangers should have won the cups because Celtic weren't in them. But then if we're flipping that, saying Rangers weren't in anything Celtic were competing for back then. So
they were in the Scottish Cup, they were in the League Cup.
Okay, fine, but they were a League 3 team.
Ronnie Dyla's biggest shortcoming was probably the treble, because I think that was the bare minimum expectancy.
But you can't seriously compare that Division 3 Rangers team to this quadruple treble Celtic team.
Well, no, of course not. But it's just still a conversation we had. Like, Gerrard has won 1 of 9 trophies, and people have been treating them like he's the next Jurgen Klopp. That's
hold on a minute here. I don't understand this. He took over a team that couldn't win anything to save their life. They were getting hammered 5-1, 5-0 off Celtic all the time. They were miles behind. They were getting beat by Progress in Europe. He then took them to a team that could get out of European groups and beat big European teams away from home, win Old Firm games and win the league title and stop the tail.
You're missing the key point of what I'm saying here. The key point of what I'm saying is I'm not taking anything away from Rangers.
But you kind of are.
I'm not. I've already said that 2 occasions.
So what is the final?
The final point is, like, why is there such a differentiation now, Bo? Because Ronnie, why is it?
Because when you're on top and you underachieve, it's
completely
different.
Steven Gerrard. Is that the reason?
No, it's because he started with a team that was down here and put them up here. There's been a growth.
Gerrard's been up against shite this season. Utter shite. Celtic have been the worst.
Okay, fine. But you're still going to and you're still going to tell me that all these players are wonderful.
Haven't spent money. Spent like £7 million.
I know, but when we're talking about wages and all that,
Scott Brown's on what, 35, 40 grand?
The Rangers are about to go out and give a £30,000 contract.
Right.
If
you compare the wage budgets,
and be the best
compare the
in
transfer.
Yeah, of course, Celtic have a financial advantage, right? That's clear, of course. But I think that at the end of the day,
I think you're just downplaying the job he's done. So what we're saying,
I'm not doing. I think Gerrard's a tremendous job
from A to B, and him getting from where he inherited that team to where it is now is night and day. Right.
Whereas Ronnie Dylan inherited the team that was on the top. They won the title. They didn't have anybody to compete with for the title. I know you're saying Celtic have been shit this season, but you can't tell me that they weren't competing with Celtic to win the title this season. Who was Ronnie Dylan Celtic competing with? Motherwell.
You taking away something for Stuart McCall's mother?
Yeah, well, exactly. So if you inherit a team,
you're missing
it is a disaster.
No, I'm not missing the point.
The Rangers going at the
Ronnie
Scottish Cup.
Dyla was expected to win a treble because he had a team that was already winning trophies. That was miles ahead of everything in the league. The start of this season, everyone, including me, thought Celtic would win the league. You thought Celtic would mop up this season.
It's not me making this. What you're missing is not me making this point. I'm talking about the general reaction that's came from it. I've said multiple times.
I've seen
that I believe that
based
Steven
on
Gerrard
the start of the season. If I told you Gerrard won the league, he would have overachieved in your mind because you didn't think they could do that.
I'm trying to play like devil's advocate.
Exactly, and I'm telling you, you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not
double down on it.
I'm playing devil's advocate and trying to get
a kind
of background.
The vast majority of people thought Celtic were going to win the league this year, right?
Right.
When Ronnie Dyla was in charge of Celtic, there was no doubt he was going to win the league titles. They just were.
Who knows? Who knew?
Well, you just talking shite now. That's just rubbish.
Who knew that Celtic were going to win?
That's just rubbish.
How?
Because of course it is.
Who knows? Ronnie Dyla could have came in and flop.
You've given up any validity in your argument. You're talking about shit like that.
I'm just saying, you can't guarantee anything in football.
Yes, you can.
You can't guarantee anything in football. No, you can't. You guarantee something. It's not. There's no guarantees in football. You know you can't. You know you can't guarantee anything. That's the whole point in the game. It's the whole point in the sport.
What shite you are talking about.
That is the truth. That's the whole point in football.
Alright, back then Motherwell could have won the league title. That was a realistic ambition that Motherwell could have realistically beat Celtic to the title.
I'm not saying it's realistic, but it could have happened.
Okay, well Dunfermline could win the Champions League.
Well, it could, wouldn't they? Technically speaking. Anyway, my whole point was, right, I've been on the side of, I've not said anything because I kind of agree with most Rangers fans in saying that Gerrard has got to the point where, he should be at. He's won the league title, that's all that really matters. I would have been happy as a Rangers fan this year, quite honestly, knowing that I would stop the 10 in a row. But I thought I would give a bit of right to know conversation that's been had and the arguments that have gone on social media.
I've said this for weeks. We talk about Celtic's rebuild. I've said for months now that Rangers are a side early in their progression. This kind of signifies that. What the fuck are you looking at the camera for?
Just looking at the time.
I've seen weeks ago that Alfredo Morelos can improve, Ryan Kent can improve, Yanis Hadji can improve, Kamara. All these players can still get better, and we've also got a crop of players that are probably in their prime, like your Golsons and your Tavs, and then you've got the experience in Davis, you've got the experience in McGregor. So I still believe, that's why I said in the tweet, we need to still bring in some fresh faces, because you can't just sit on what they've done this season in the league, because you look at the cup competitions, they've underachieved, so there's still room for improvement. So the whole 16-17 compared to this Rangers side is complete nonsense. I just don't get the debates. I think that's just a time filler for people just to talk about something, man. It doesn't really matter.
I'm glad you can see that. I'm glad you can. The final point I wanted to bring up on this, because I'm glad that we've actually spent a lot of time talking about this, because it makes for interesting conversation.
The biggest thing now for Rangers, right, after winning this league and picking up that title on the 15th of May, right, is getting a couple more players in and qualifying for Champions League.
Right,
that is the goal. That's the next
one
goal.
Final question, and this isn't me making.
That'd be massive.
This isn't me alluding to my thoughts, but it's just a general question that I feel will be interesting to hear an answer from a Rangers fan for. Does the cup exits and the kind of falling under the pressure of those cups make you worry at all for next season in terms of fans coming back, potentially Celtic having a new manager?
No, because I think that the fans could maybe put a rocket up their arse when they think that they can just show up versus St Johnstone and think they're going to win. Because they've already showed the week before that they can show up and they can beat a decent team, and they've done it numerous times this season. Right? But for me, it was as if some players just showed up to this game and felt like they were just there to win.
Just there to win. Already done when they went in. Get that. That's cool.
No, all of them.
Aye.
Some of them. And once you have a few bad eggs like that, then you can always.
Because as a Celtic fan, it just makes you wish that somehow we weren't that shite this year, that we could have applied pressure. Their fault for being so shite, right enough. But it would have been nice to apply some pressure at some point. See if it would have changed anything. I don't think it would have in the long run. Rangers went unbeaten, for Christ's sake. But
and I can see vice versa about the season before.
Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see next season nonetheless. I'm looking forward to it. That's that then. David, you happy we're done about the Rangers game? He doesn't like the big teams. Doesn't like them.
How long have we spent in that?
Doesn't like the big boy chat about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
That's a bit naughty there, didn't it?
I bet Motherwell winning the league potentially back in the day.
Well, there was a time. There was a time.
Great content.
Anyway, let's move on to last night's Scottish Cup tie. What a game that was. And you've been saying how much you want to talk about the Scottish Cup being the greatest cup competition in the world. And last night was a kind of last night's game was one of those ones that showed, but maybe in quality wise it might not be, but in terms of what happens at the end of the games with the results and all of that, it's certainly up there. What a game.
All four ties were just unbelievable cup ties. Wow, yeah, I mean, the drama started an hour before kickoff for that game last night, because the news broke that Kyle Lafferty was injured. So everyone's going, oh my god, how's that gonna? Because I think a lot of people fancied Kelly. I mean, I fancied Kelly. That news comes out, you're thinking, oh, how are Kelly going to adapt to that? Blah blah blah. And then the game starts and it's just 120 minutes of absolute drama. Colin Doyle's got the Vaseline on between the gloves, not on the eyebrows. So I don't know what he's up to. Like a true ex-Hearts goalkeeper. And St Mirren. Yeah, they do what they do. They've had a really good season, and I think that Kelly have showed a bit of fight and a bit of spirit, and we saw that last night. But St Mirren's quality kind of shone through. It kind of did enough for them. But I mean, to go 120 minutes, you had penalty decisions, you had good goals, you had shocking goals, you had managers raging, you had penalty. It was just absolutely fantastic. And
fantastic advert for Scotland. Oh yeah, this whole weekend.
Because this is the thing, right? I know what Ryan said there is right. The quality in terms of actual quality of football is, we know it's not great up here, but that's not what we should market our game on. We should market our game on stuff like that. We should market our game on Dunfermline Arbroath on Saturday. That's how we should market our game, because it's what we do better than anyone else. The drama,
we have got
the passion.
On Sunday to market as well. Keep in mind.
I know, but that's what we do market the game on. That's all we market on. Like the way they sell Scottish football is the old firm and nothing else. That's the problem. But what a cup tie. Delighted for Jim Goodwin. He's got a chance.
It's absolutely huge. The ability of St Mirren just to keep going, being 2-1 behind, getting the late equaliser, taking an extra time, going behind again, and then the bollocks McGrath to stand up and take that penalty in I think the 118th minute.
Thoughts on the decision? I didn't think it was a
Did you
penalty.
see?
I didn't think it was a penalty,
No.
but I thought that the angles were poor.
I can understand why the ref thought it was a penalty, but I didn't think it was a penalty.
Aye, so the original angle I'm seeing is basically you can't really see where the
Doyle
ball.
wraps his arms round him.
He
But you
almost
can't
takes
see
the ball.
Aye, but I think he does get the ball.
Yeah, but then he goes through him as well.
Yeah, I can
don't think that's
understand
a
why it
penalty.
was given. I can
'Cause-
totally understand it, but I don't think it's a penalty. Either.
Yeah, I agree because it looks like to me he takes the ball and then he hits the man.
Yeah.
But then the ball's like over there, so you're thinking
He
they
takes
don't
it
show
and drops
another. I think he takes it and drops it a wee bit and then gets
Which
through
is
the
why
man.
I think the ref thinks he doesn't get it.
I know that's
So
a
there
bit
you go.
off topic, but did you see the BBC that putting Ross Millen's goal was 45 plus 57 minutes?
Aye.
Like, when it came on
What
the
was
screen,
that
I
about?
don't know.
Ross Millen.
They must have had a bit of a howler.
Plus 50.
Balls of steel, Ross Millen. I'll tell you a wee Ross Millen story again that nobody will give a shit about, but I like my wee Dunfermline anecdotes. So Ross Millen used to play for us, and he was an absolute scapegoat, right? He used to get slagged rotten every single week. He was like Ryan Christie. Every week he got slagged, and then we played, it was when we were in administration, and we played Forfar in the playoff to stay in the championship or get relegated. 120 minutes, we'd been like, we were like 3-0 down for the first leg, we got it back to like level. Ross Millen had a penalty in the 91st minute to put it to extra time. And at the time it was like, this might save us from extinction, this is massive, this penalty. Steps up, slots it, balls of steel, Ross Millen. I mean, we still got relegated, but it's not balls of steel.
Then he go extincted.
No, we didn't, we survived.
Fair
Just
enough,
about.
Ross Millen.
Alloa put us down, Paul Hartley's Alloa. Good times.
Well, a good celebration for St Mirren fans through to the next round. Once again, another semi-final. I mean, the pubs are open now, but the beer gardens are open. You'd be celebrating if you were a St Mirren fan this season. What a season it has turned out to be. I know they missed out slightly in that top six, but if you offered them
Two semi-finals
and
and
seventh place, you chop the hand off somebody for it. So a brilliant season.
So many romantic stories in play with this Scottish Cup
Did you
semi-finals
see
as well.
Douglas Ross's first pint yesterday?
They're just,
No.
Did you not see it? No.
just-
David, you can make me whole again.
It's just...
Oh, when he was doing that business? Nah, I seen that. Aye.
Aye.
Didn't see him.
Christ almighty.
Give him all
Just
the
think
pints.
about pints and think about that.
If you're a Tory in Scotland, don't try and be a relatable guy. It's never going to work. Just be a horrible bastard. That might work.
Oh, well, that's nicely put.
It works down south.
Let's not bring politics into this.
Well, let's get down to the TSF politics show. Boom. No, but
Spin-off show.
once again, I've got. Let's touch on the teams up. You've already spoke about the majority of the Scottish Cup games. We don't need to revisit that. You've done that in the live show yesterday. But in all honesty, these four teams all have a solid chance of winning this cup. What a final four it is, because anybody could win it. Now Hibs, on paper, look the
I
favourites.
feel for Jack Ross because
It's
a
could
nightmare.
end
for
badly
failure
for him.
again, isn't it?
But in terms of look at all four of those teams, I fancy all four of them. You know what? It's weird. I don't know how you do it, but St Johnstone double, Hibs winning a cup again, Dundee United who
First season back in the Premiership, winning the cup. That's United properly back now as a proper big side. That would make a hell of a statement. St Mirren, you were talked about. St Johnstone, I still think it'll be St Johnstone because they've got the experience of having done it before, and they're so solid. Like, see at the back, they are so like. I know Rangers. We talked about their chances, but they didn't carve them open time and time again. You know,
They're organised. They
Yeah,
make
exactly.
you
They're
work for
so
your
organised.
chances.
They've got energy. They're so disciplined. They're a threat going forward. They've got goals all over the park. And I just think they're a really, really good side, and I just think the experience of having done it before will help them. Looking at the semis though, I think it was a perfect draw for me because Hibs Dundee United is such a tasty cup semi-final. I love that. Just it's going to be really, really good. Dundee United, who we've spoke about a lot in this podcast this year, you never really know what you're getting with Dundee United, but they've got performances in them like Saturday where they'll just go and they've got goals, they've got good players. They've got Hibs, who have got a brilliant squad. That's going to be a great game. St Mirren, having missed out in one semi-final, chance to go again. There's just so much at play, and I genuinely, I'm back in St Johnstone, but it is so hard to pick between the four of them, and I think it's going to be brilliant. I love the fact that we've got four teams outside the big two, and I know that's not even just an Old Firm dig. It's just highlighting that there are other good teams in Scotland. So
I don't mind the digs. I don't mind the digs.
I mind them with days, taking me heart. So
Nah, I'm fine.
devastated.
Right
I've
round
had
Premier Sports,
a
by the way.
lot of fun for that. We'll come on to that in a moment. So, right, before the camera runs out for
I've
the
got a
first
stat
part,
on that.
before it passes out for the first part of this, I want to ask very quickly your predictions for the Scottish Cup final,
Jesus.
and then maybe who you think will win it. I know you've got St Johnstone.
It was St Johnstone versus Dundee United in the cup final for me.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's a hard one because Hibs always give you a chance, and Dundee United went up to Aberdeen and absolutely battered them. I just think this could be Jack Ross breaking the voodoo. I think he could do Dundee United, get himself to the final, and I also agree with you that St Johnstone will meet them there, and it'll be a
Well, I love how
return of the semi-final.
I love how
Tayside
we've all got different finals, because I'm going to go for Hibs St Mirren.
Wow.
I'm going for a Hibs St Mirren final. I think that Jim Goodwin's men are going to get that little taste of victory, get through to the final. Just couldn't get it done the last time.
Listen, they probably deserve it.
Yeah.
But then
I think all of them.
all
great,
4
great
teams,
chance.
you've got to
Great
say
chance.
deserve it.
I think sometimes as well, see when you have that upset early on, like St Mirren put Rangers out the League Cup.
They peaked
when
a
you
little
go
bit
into,
then.
sometimes I think they peak a wee bit. So then you go into it and you might not be as up for it as you maybe would
But
be
then
if it
I
wasn't.
think St Johnstone's experience of winning a cup semi-final
But
tied them over.
I think that's where the two teams will differ, and I think St Johnstone will go in and I think they'll get the victory.
So what was your stat that you would want to give us?
It's over 70 years since the last time Celtic and Rangers weren't in
The League or Scottish Cup
either semi-final.
Wow.
70 odd years.
None of
I
us
think
are
this is the
that.
first season in like 20 years that Ronaldo and Messi haven't been in the Champions League quarter final as well. So it really is the end of football.
I mean, I know this is just a very quick point. If you see, Juventus might not even finish top 4 this season.
I know,
Ronaldo might not be in the
In
Champions
fact,
League at all.
get it around Juventus because we're trying to
I hate
for the
Juventus,
Super League.
but Ronaldo.
Says the
I'm
man wearing a Juventus
I'm keeping the Juve top, but aye.
Aye, so yeah, we'll move past all that. We'll get all that finished. The Scottish Cup, what a competition. Rangers, on the other hand, you were talking, I just want to bring this up very quickly, reading there that apparently going in for a pre-contract deal for the name is a fantastic fashion Sakala of Oostende in Belgium. Pre-contract, they want to offer him a 4-year deal. 29 appearances, 13 goals this season.
Who's this, Rangers?
Yes.
Aye, I know.
Yes,
Aye.
Fashion Sakala, what a name.
You sure you know?
Of course.
You don't look convinced.
I was
Aye.
going to ask,
You're going to ask me what kind of player he is?
what kind of player is he?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Aye.
Talented.
It's much like your Larson take earlier on. Like last week on last show, he's just got something in him, the boy.
There's something about him.
Let's
Something
see,
about-
more
Where's
than-
he from? What nationality is he?
He's Zambian.
Zambian.
No,
That,
no, he's not. He's not Zimbabwean. He's Zambian.
that's what I said.
No, you said Zambian.
Reverse the tape. Zambian. You know, he's fast.
He must be
He
pals
can
with
score.
Jack
He can
Kennedy.
finish. He's an aerial presence as well.
Ariel,
Oh, you're going for it now.
If he listen,
his height
if-
is 1.
what I will say right is, if he was playing versus St Johnstone, he'd have picked up Xander Clark. He'd have cleared it. That's how much an aerial presence this boy's got.
At 5'8".
Yes.
Oh, we.
Listen, Nate Robinson,
Tim Cahill.
Tim
Tim
Cahill.
Cahill,
Tim Cahill was
Stephen
tiny.
Naismith.
Yeah.
You know, he's of that ilk.
Elk.
I'm having a mare.
Cutting about in the forest.
Cut that. Fucking cut it. No, but listen, all jokes aside, he is a fabulous player. He deserves his 4-year contract.
I'm putting the arse out of this now.
He's really his performances versus Antwerp this season have been unbelievable. Even he was good against Club Brugge as well. He scored a brace versus them.
Any other Belgian teams you know?
What?
Any other Belgian teams you know?
Standard
Anderlecht, he was cracking at Standard. She's performance against Standard.
Liège.
Who
aye.
was it
wow.
you originally said he was good
Antwerp.
against Antwerp?
Yes.
Against
He was
Antwerp. Let's
unbelievable against
see what
Antwerp.
his record is. I'm trying to find
It's that
it.
aerial presence.
What's Antwerp?
But you're a big stats man, you know.
Antwerp, he's had 6 appearances, winning 1, losing 3, drawing 2. He scored twice though. He scored
That's
twice.
no, but that's what I'm
Scored
saying.
twice.
Against adversity, with playing for a lesser team, he's been the star man. So that's what I've seen in him. And
Does this guy
obviously,
even exist?
That's
Yes,
what.
Fashion Sakala, here he is. Apparently,
He is, yeah.
4-year deal.
That's you.
His contract is up at the end of the season.
There he's there, aye.
with FK Ostend.
So there you go.
Some sort of ashes on him.
KV Ostend, and apparently Rangers are wanting to offer him 4-year contract. Only 24 years old.
Good age.
1 cap for his
He's just
country.
turned 24 as well, hasn't he? So-
March 14th.
There you go.
My man!
I know. I've just had these on strings, mate. I know everything.
Right, brilliant. Let's move on to what
I was hoping that was going to be a May birthday.
the League Cup. We're delighted to announce Premier Sports has become
We're
the
not
new
delighted to announce
titles. I'm reading the statement, of course. We are delighted to announce that Premier Sports has become the new title sponsor of the Scottish League Cup and will now be exclusive broadcaster of the Premier Sports.
You know what it
Cup.
reminds me of? You know in Mario Kart and you got all the wee cups?
Aye.
I'm sure they had one called the Premier Sports Cup in Mario Kart.
I think I meant
Honestly-
the Premier Cup.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
it's
2027 though, long deal.
Must be cash up
Hopefully
front.
there's a big cash injection coming in into Scottish football.
Well, you can only hope. I mean, you can only hope. I'm reading the statement just now as we speak. And it's just basically Neil Doncaster bumming them up something rotten. There's nothing on finances and such. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day,
Doesn't affect anyone apart from Celtic and Rangers fans because we're not going to be on it.
the
So.
whole thing was snackered.
Oh, saying that, I think we have been on Premier once this season, but hey ho.
Have you?
Yes, when we played Falkirk in the Betfred Cup.
Very nice. Oh, Christ, I forgot you played them. That's right, aye. Well, there we go. It's going to
Yeah.
become a mainstay in the households now alongside Sky and BT.
He's got loyal.
Extra £5 a month.
One that he's got.
Can't I beat it?
Right,
Can
come
you
on,
whack
let's
it?
not advertise illegal
Why not?
streams. Because Premier Sports might want to sponsor this podcast.
And do you also remember
One
that
look at my Twitter, they won't be doing
these,
that.
these streams are killing football? killing the game.
They've got enough money, fuck's sake.
Well, we don't. We certainly don't.
No.
Let's finally move on to, I think, maybe the games in League 1 and League 2 tonight.
Yeah, but
are we going to look over the weekend? Or
we'll leave it for Thursday.
Just jump straight on to tonight. So, very interesting as we get to the end of the season. David, you were telling me earlier a fantastic bit of information about how the league can finish in League 1, the different possibilities. Would you like to...
I don't think I told him that, did I? I think he's lying. Why
Tell
did you
us.
just made that up?
I've not made that up. You said you had a start for
He's
this.
taking the C-bomb right out of you right now.
He said he had, before we came in there, you said you had something to tell us.
Alright. Jeez. Anyway, my research that I've done, that I haven't told Ryan yet, he's just made that up. I've not even done any research, but I do know that Thistle play Cove, obviously, which is massive for a whole host of reasons. If Thistle win that is going to be a massive step towards a title for Thistle, because they've been such an upturn. They'd be 7 points clear if they win tonight. And they would just need a point at home to Falkirk on Saturday to win the title. So it's mad. A win for Cove though, and we're back to square one. Yep. It will throw everything up in the air and nobody has a clue. Airdrie play Montrose, which again, another really tasty game. Both fighting for playoff places. Airdrie will go 5 clear of Montrose if they win, so that will pretty much seal that for Airdrie. And probably, I think they've probably sealed their fate from relegation now.
All I'm saying is,
but if Montrose win, they will jump them into 4th. The Montrose win, so proper 6-pointer there. Dumbarton have to win at Forfar, really. If they lose, they'll be relegated. No, sorry. Forfar need to beat Dumbarton.
Yes.
Otherwise,
I was looking at that there.
Forfar will go down if they don't win tonight, which I think is probably one of those they're expected to go down anyway. But Dumbarton could go ahead of Clyde if they win.
Yes.
Obviously. Look at me. I'd just like to thank whoever put this on Twitter. He's faithful in the team that I've got nothing to play for, which is interesting because at this stage of the League Championship, it's the same last weekend. There was something on the line in every game. East Fife got nothing to play for, middle of the pack. Feel a bit sorry for them because the way the splits work, they could have been in the pushing for the top 4. But hey ho, and they play Clyde. But Clyde obviously got the Barton on the tail for the 9th spot. I think Clyde will probably have enough though because they've got goals in the team. This is just really boring now, isn't it? And League 2. Yeah, so now I can finish second and beat Elgin tonight, which is League 2 is an interesting one as well. Obviously, Queen's Park are obviously up already, and this is why I love the playoffs. What did we do before the playoffs were introduced? Because think about if there wasn't playoffs now, there'd be nothing to play for here.
Yeah, because
do you remember Willow Flood taking a Berkey for Dundee United against Livy?
And then the following summer he signed for Dunfermline and then left 3 days later to go to Bally United, to only to find out he hadn't had a visa and his contract got terminated and he retired. Poor old Willow Flood, man. I'm really upset.
He was really the Irish Iniesta.
I'd quite like to see Willow Flood at Dunfermline. He was always really good against us even when he was like 46, which really upsets me. Stirling Albion host Queen's Park. Stirling Albion are still in a decent spot where they could also finish second. I think a win will secure second for them. Or no, it'll certainly put them second.
Stirling Albion.
Yes.
If they win, they will leapfrog Edinburgh City.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's an interesting one. Queen's Park, they've obviously got the cigars out now. They've got the holidays booked. Maybe Magaluf, green list. So Simon Murray will be staring at
it. That's me. I'm ready. I'm off. That's me.
Girls look like boys. Girls like Simon Murray. He'll be cutting about.
You've had a long layoff, haven't you?
And
you're ready to go.
Long layoff.
Have you?
Christ, make that layoff like. Well, that'll be nearly 22 years in March. There you go. What?
I urge myself not to make a joke. And when Brecon lose to Cowdenbeath tonight, they will be officially Club 42 and in that spot.
That's a good talking point, actually. What the fuck
well,
is
what's
happening?
the point of talking about it?
Wait, got a joke. Club 42 for them, but for Queen's Park, the Club 18 to 25. Do you not get it? Because Magaluf.
No, been.
Neither do I.
You book your Club 18 to 25 holidays.
Oh, that was shite.
So let's play for in League 1,
It was
League 2.
meant to be shite, but I didn't expect such silence after. I expected something to be said.
I do the jokes, let's be honest.
What do you call... I can't say that joke.
Can you?
Well, I'll put it in and edit it if it's bad.
Right, go.
What do you call a Spanish football player with no legs?
I don't know.
Gracias.
That's pretty good, I like that.
That's
pretty good, I like that.
That was alright.
Not he's playing a red ash, mind you, but
Christ, you don't actually use that to say, aye.
red ashy ash.
Like baboon's arse.
Oh, the game's gone.
The game is gone.
I love how you came in with that beautiful insight and stuff, and then
Nobody gives a shite.
we just talked about his streak and.
I give a shite, but you know. And then moving on, what else we got to talk about today?
So everyone, you fire in predictions for League 1 and League 2 tonight.
Not really, because I don't think anyone can even remember what the fixtures were. So we'll just move on.
Fixtures right in front
Okay,
of me.
hit us up then.
Right, okay, we'll go through them quickly. Cove, Rangers, Partick Thistle, huge game. But I'm backing my lads. I'm going for Partick Thistle.
I'm hoping that Cove win that just so
it just becomes madness.
Aye,
Yeah.
it becomes
I think
mad.
Cove will win it. Yeah.
I want Partick to get over the
Although
line.
you know, I'd love Super Joe just to come.
I'm going
to
to go 1-0 to the Cove.
Oh, okay, so begin scores as well. I'm just going to ask the result. Clyde and East Fife.
East Fife.
East Fife.
Dumbarton Forfar. Will Forfar go down?
Yes.
Yes.
Forfar will go down.
Dumbarton.
1-0. Oh shit, just teams.
And finally, Airdrie Montrose. I'm going to go for a draw.
Montrose. Viva Stuart Petrie.
Oh, I'm going to go Airdrie.
25 years on from when
I
Stuart
don't
Petrie scored
think I
a
have
goal
backed
at Penalties.
Airdrie once this season. Not
Will
once.
this be... No?
Of course, the games. What's that?
You got Montrose?
I'm going draw.
Oh,
I'm going draw. Of course, games tonight and on Thursday in League 1, so a very kind of thick and fast week for them. And then Saturday as well. So,
killing them.
yep, it's going to be huge. In League 2, the fixtures very quickly tonight. Once again, the same as League 1. Games tonight, Thursday and Saturday. We'll start off with Cowden, Beef and Brechin. What a stinker of a game.
Brechin City.
You got to go for the Brechin.
They're staying up.
Did they draw 0-0 in the last game they played?
Don't know.
Cowden Beef won at the weekend, so I'm going to go...
Yeah, Cowden Beef.
Gotta go for the
that,
Beef.
obviously. It's not
Okay,
even
go
there,
for the
but-
Beef. Go for the Beef.
Hopefully, because Brechin will do my
Stirling Albion and Queen's Park.
Stirling Albion. They've
you know
got
what?
they've got something to play for. Queen's Park have got fuck all to play for.
I think it'll be a draw.
I'm going to go draw.
Yeah.
Draw's a decent result for Stirling.
Stranraer and Elgin.
Draw.
6-0 Elgin.
I'm going to go
Have
for...
Stranraer not been in a decent run?
I'm going to go
since
Stranraer.
Yes.
I'm going to go in Stranraer.
You just said they could finish second, which I was...
Yeah.
Bath one, innit? And then Annan Athletic against Stenhouse Muir. I'm going to go Stenhouse Muir.
Stenny, because I played there.
I think that...
You know I say that every time you mention Stennis Muir.
No, don't say every time. Maybe 5 out of 10 times.
I think Annan, because I hate Stenny.
Many loads of teams you hate.
I
Because I
know.
played there
Because you played there, you hate it.
against the Rover 65s. Get it around every single one of these. F.
Christ.
Anyway.
F, what is F?
No,
Right.
that...
Hope you were taking bodies in that game.
Ah, Liz, have you not seen the highlights?
Christ, CJ broke his nose.
I heard that.
Did indeed, aye.
Aye. Right, okay, let's move on to the finale of... Well, not actually, not the finale. We've got Instagram.
Well, I don't think there is any Instagram questions.
There's none. No Twitter questions
I was
either.
slacking, mate.
No Twitter questions.
There's a couple, but
go on.
again, it's the usual. Aaron Smith asks, who would you rather be starting goals, Joe Pereira or Colin Doyle? Jesus Christ, they're both
That's
terrible.
a really
Did Joe
good
Pereira not go to... Did he not
As a
get a
man-
decent transfer recently?
As a Manchester United fan, I've got to go for Doyle.
Did Joe Pereira not get a decent move recently?
He
With
played-
Huddersfield or something like that?
I might have. Because obviously he played for Man United.
Worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life in Scotland. It's just absolutely
Watson
dreadful.
Doyle?
He
Yeah.
currently,
Oh,
he plays for
right.
Huddersfield. Plays
Yeah,
for Huddersfield,
wow.
and he's
Mental.
also the Portugal under-21s keeper as well.
Jesus,
God
fuck.
bless the future of
But what age is Colin Doyle?
Must be with a name like that. He must be in his 40s.
Aye, do you know what I mean? So, do
Listen,
rather have Pereira.
Colin Doyle is currently 35 years old.
you know what I mean?
There isn't really any more questions, so you two fill a minute or two while I try and find a quiz.
So let's talk about I don't know, goalkeepers. Who's the best that you've seen in Scotland?
Lewis McGonigal.
Good answer.
That's a good answer. The best I've seen in Scotland?
McGregor probably for you, innit?
Ah, it's got to be for me,
you.
aye.
For me, Boric, of course. But here we go.
Did you know there a video where you put
Right,
McGregor
let's
ahead
just
of
move.
Boric?
Let's move now. Let's move.
Did you know though?
I did I? But let's move on. Worst goalkeeper you've ever seen?
Worst goalie?
Aye.
Chris Smith.
Fuck me, man.
Worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. It's a hard one. Do you know who I keep forgetting existed? I don't know if you remember. You have no fucking clue. Absolutely none. Do you remember Logan Bailey?
Yeah.
Logan bloody Bailey. I don't know if he ever played.
I don't think he did ever
I don't
play.
think he ever got a game. He was part of the. He was in the 40 for the Invincible Treble and everything.
Aye.
Just I don't think. he
So
ever
with
played.
big Compa and all that, wasn't he?
Compa was the year after.
Oh, was
he
it?
was a double treble. We also had
Oh, was
Doris
he?
Doris De Vries, who played like
What a keeper.
3 times for Celtic.
So good,
Played in
man.
the 5-1 game. Joe Gardner scored. Played against Barcelona, conceded 7.
He got binned for Bain, did he not? Gordon?
Yeah, Gordon came back because obviously Rodgers never liked Gordon at first. So
Aye, because he can't play.
aye, but then things happened. Worst I've seen, I don't know. Worst I've seen is probably.
Right, I've got a quiz.
Oh, I'm trying to think worst keeper I've ever seen. Who was him that played for United? Man United years ago, like early 2000s.
Roy Carroll.
Roy Carroll, no,
The
I
worst,
think it was
it can't be Roy Carroll.
Barface.
We Bartes.
him.
He was not. He can't have him as one of those.
Bartes with the France.
It's a World Cup.
No, it's not him then. Who is it? Somebody played for Man United.
Tim Howard, Roy Carroll,
Is
Fabian
it Roy
Bartes.
Foster?
Carroll? I'm thinking, no, somebody.
Must be Roy Carroll.
Ben
I think.
Foster's
Might be
amazing.
Roy Carroll I'm thinking of. But there was somebody for United who was woeful.
Can't be Roy Carroll. He's not that bad.
Roy Carroll, I think he was pretty bad.
Got like 100 international.
Who was the
caps.
guy that played for Rangers for it? Simonson or something? He was.
Steve Simonson. He
He
was.
passed the ball straight
bogging.
to Swifty in the Scottish Cup semi-finals.
Anyway, right. I have a quiz, and it is all to do with the Scottish Premiership split.
The Scottish Premiership split.
Yes.
Was it me and you again?
Yeah. Yeah.
You haven't even said about your top today. What a top
What
that
a
is.
shot. Best shot this season.
Mate, honestly, it
Hands
is
down. It's
glorious.
just stunning. This sort of,
Just wish it wasn't on you.
Air United's away kit.
Best
Best kit in the world.
The best
haven't
two,
seen
the
it.
best two
Oh,
kits
wait
this
till I
year is
find
either
this.
this or Inter Milan's third kit, like the full back to R9, the black and grey kind of hoops with the badge in the middle. Oh, stunning! Just absolutely stunning.
This is. I mean, what a kit this is. Look at
I'm
that.
trying to think who the keeper
That
was.
is glorious. I love ugly
That
away
looks like you're
kits.
trying to bring the old firm together.
I love
For fuck's sake, what
ugly
is
away
that?
kits. Ugly away kits do it for me.
A green and blue kit.
It's
Do you
purple,
know-
mate. It's purple.
Looks blue to me.
We're getting a green and purple away kit. I'm filming this. I cannot
aye.
wait.
I think
I'm
I
so excited.
found the keeper who I'm thinking of. It was Massimo Taibi, I think. I think that was.
Taibbi, yeah, he let one go through his legs.
Aye,
I
that's
think
what
you're
I'm
top more 90s than early 2000s. So.
No, he was. Yeah, 99 2000. That was it.
Were you
Um,
even born in 99?
Nah, well,
I was, yeah.
2000. I was
Were you
born
99?
2000.
Yeah.
You 2000?
Yep. I just remember seeing him in a Soccer AM, like a compilation Soccer AM DVD.
Matt Letizia hit a shot, went through his legs from about 35 yards. That's all I remember of him. Anyway, right, quiz time. Who wants to go first? Because it was I
Well, I won the last
you
one,
won
didn't
last
Aye,
week,
so you
so
can choose, aye.
I'd like to go first, please,
first this week.
Chris.
Do you know what annoys me? Last week I actually like
Magnus.
won quite
Magnus
convincingly.
What was his name? Magnus what from Mastermind? What was his second name?
Oh, PI.
You didn't win, no, did you?
Magnus McPherson.
Yeah.
That's why they
Your
call it.
questions were easy.
Was it
last week.
McMillan?
That's what they call him.
Right, okay, this is gonna be tough. Right, so Dev, you going
Jesus
first.
fuck.
The split was introduced in 2001 season when the top flight increased from 10 to 12 clubs. Which team finished bottom in the inaugural campaign?
Fuck me gently.
In 2001, who finished bottom of the
In
Premiership?
2001, my God, Dunfermline.
No.
Can I have a guess before you say the answer?
Yeah, if you want, aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. There are options for these. I'm actually going to give you the options because that is the way.
Motherfucker.
Because actually,
It's
these
the way the world.
yeah, these are quite different. So it's either Thistle, St Mirren, or Dundee.
Oh,
My answer's there. My answer what I was going to give is there. So I'm glad
I
I
don't know.
never
They
said it.
all
I'm
go
glad I
down,
never
didn't
said
they?
it.
But you've got to think about. I mean, one of them in particular had a decent team back then. I think, if I remember correctly, had a really decent team.
Right. Who did you say again? What was the first option?
Thistle, St Mirren, or Dundee.
Fucking Thistle.
That was going to be my answer before the guesses came out.
The answer is St Mirren.
Oh, I would have been wrong.
Because did Dundee
That
not,
was the team I was thinking.
did Dundee not have like Caniggia and stuff back then? Nachinovo and all that.
Maybe.
Julian Speroni and all the
That
Argentinians.
actually
What
sounds-
team they had, by the way.
Aye.
Anyway, so it was St Mirren.
Nice.
So Ryan, your chance.
Yes.
Aberdeen became top 6 mainstays after Derek McInnes took charge, but they finished in the bottom half for 4 straight seasons from 2010 to 2013. True or false?
True.
You're going true?
Yes.
It is true.
That's true, yes.
Mad.
Why not Ryan?
So
Mark
they go
McGee,
for-
Mark McGee and Craig Brown.
They go
That's
for
right.
bottom half to just second under
This is-
McInnes.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what I kept saying all the time when he got sacked. But anyway,
Interesting.
including this season, which this is an up-to-date quiz, Rangers have finished in the top 6 14 times. How does Hearts' total compare? Is it the same, one higher, or one lower? So Rangers have been in top 6 14 times. Have Hearts been in at the same amount, one more, or one less?
Hearts.
Yes.
Does this include Rangers top 6 in League 2, League 1?
No, it's
No.
top six Premiership quiz.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Hearts feel like they always finish top 6 or thereabouts. So
So you're automatically subtracting
it's
4 from
close
Rangers.
anyway. Aye, it's close anyway. So I'll
But
go.
Hearts have been up and down as well, haven't they?
Aye, they have. So I'll go.
Same, one higher, or one lower?
I'll go one more.
It's going one lower. It is one lower. Correct answer.
Close.
13 times the top 6 for the Jam Tarts.
Nice.
Brilliant question for Ryan. You'll love this.
Alright.
Celtic were famously pipped to the title by Rangers in Helicopter Sunday, the dramatic climax of the season 2005.
Yes.
But in how many other campaigns since the split was introduced has the title race gone to the final day?
My gosh.
3, 5, or 4? How many times has the title race gone to the final day since 2001.
I don't think it's as many as
Since
5.
what? 2000.
2001 when the split was introduced.
I don't think it's as many as 5.
3, 5 or 4.
I think. So obviously there's the game we're usually doing. There's that.
Behave yourself.
There is Scott McDonald. There is us.
That was Scott McDonald's, is it not?
Yeah,
Scott
yes. And then there was us winning it at Tannadice. That's the 3 that I can remember off the top of my head. I can't think of a 4th.
So you're going to go with 3?
But I'm trying to think if there's me, because there are 3 I can remember, so there might be one that I've just not remembered. I don't think it's as many as 5. It's 3 or 4, I think. I'm gonna go for the 4.
I said 5.
It is 4, correct answer.
Oh,
2003, 2008, 2009 and 2011.
Did I go to the final day? Christ, I can't remember.
2011 was
Your
when
last
Lafferty, wasn't
title.
it? At Rugby
Aye.
Park, yeah.
Didn't remember that going.
That was the ones I was thinking about. Us winning at Dundee United away, Kelly away.
Yeah, Lafferty.
That's 2.
I don't
But you
know.
didn't see any of them.
I said, "Use win it."
Did you?
Didn't Fernlin?
Which was 2003.
2003, 2000. That one.
8
yeah.
was Scott.
And
Was,
it's
Scott McDonald, 2005.
I think the question was out with the one I mentioned.
Oh, was it?
So
Oh, was it
it's-
out?
It would have been 5.
It
but
would have
it
been
was
5, right?
Because the
Okay.
question was how many other campaigns.
Right, okay.
Right.
Illiterate.
Oh, well, fine. I was a pure fluke.
So what's
that I got that,
the score here? 2-1.
2-1 to me.
Right, so Div
And on his third question.
needs to stick a finger out here. 3 times is the most any club has been relegated in the 12-team format. Which team is it? So one team has gone down 3 times since the split was introduced. Who are they? Is it Dundee, Hamilton or Partick Thistle?
We were starting a song now. What's the options, right?
Partick Thistle, Hamilton or Dundee?
I'm gonna go for. Oh, it's hard.
It's a very difficult question.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna go Thistle this one.
Not to you, anyway. Thistle. He's going to go Thistle.
They've definitely been done twice.
Dundee.
Fuck off, Dundee.
I was going to say Thistle.
So chance for Ryan to go 3-1 up.
Hope this isn't
Relatively.
finished 4-2.
So a playoff was put in place in the Premiership in 2013-14. Yes. Livingston beat Partick Thistle in the 17-18 final to become just the second team promoted via the playoffs. Who were the first team?
Was
it Hamilton, Dundee,
I guess.
or Ross County?
I think it was Hamilton.
That isn't it?
It's
That's
Hamilton.
Hibs.
Jason Scotland scored against Hibs at Easter Road for us.
Am I Gubs? No, I need to get my next
You
2.
need to get 2 and mine. I need to get.
Right, it's a true or false question, this.
I'm going to get a slag in it.
So,
True.
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 Do you know what we want
No,
to read the
gone
question?
true.
He's going
Read the
through.
question.
It
Then.
was false.
Oh, you clown! You idiot!
The question was, in 10 of the 19
Add a bit of drama.
in 10 of the 19 complete seasons since the split was introduced, the team finishing 7th has collected more points than the side in 6th. That's a good question.
I feel like this is like a maths fucking test, man. This
So,
bringing me vibes back.
Ryan,
At
just to
show your working and all
This
that.
is,
romping it
this is
today,
for
man.
4-1, isn't it?
I'm romping it today. Is this my last question? Have I had one wrong yet?
Yes, you've had one wrong, I think.
So is this my last question?
I think so. Celtic have dominated the Premiership
That's
since the split was brought in, winning
Yes, they
15
have.
of 21 titles.
Yes, they have.
What was the biggest winning margin? 29, 24 or 20 points?
29 points.
That's the correct answer.
Correct. I'm wrong today.
What season was it?
29 points. Oh Christ, I am going to take a stab in the dark and say that it would have been 13-14.
Yeah, one of the seasons where Motherwell should have been winning the league.
13-14 was it?
Yes, it was 13-14.
13-14. Look at me, man. I'm
Just finally out of interest.
You need one, so.
Name the first club.
Wait, that's going to be the all or nothing
There's
question.
still one.
Are you what?
Oh, is it?
Aye, it's Devon that goes back to you.
Oh, so it's 6 questions today.
I threw it to win, mate. You may as well just win this one.
Anyway,
Make it one each.
Name the first club to go from a top 6 finish to relegation in successive seasons. So they finished top 6, next season they were relegated.
I think I know this.
The first club to do this, who were they? Was it Thistle, Dundee United or Inverness?
I think I know this.
I've said Thistle twice already, right? So what did you say? Thistle?
Dundee United or Inverness?
Oh, Dundee United.
So no Thistle.
I think it's Thistle.
They done it.
See, this is Thistle and I
It
said
was
them
Dundee
twice.
United. It was
Was it
Dundee
Dundee
United.
United? I thought it
I'm
was
still in this then.
Thistle did do it though, didn't they?
Yes, but Dundee United obviously were the first team to do it.
Uh-huh.
That was the question. Dundee United finished 5th in 2015 and bottom a year later.
Wow.
The final question was this anyway. Name the club. Oh, okay, right, interesting. So when the season was ended and points per game last season, who was the club that was denied? Hold on. Let me read this question again. Name the club denied. I don't really get this question. I don't really get this question.
Just read it.
Name the club denied a top 6 finish when last season was ended early on a points per game basis.
Right, I get it. Okay, so there was somebody who would have finished 7th that could have finished 6th, but didn't get the chance to finish playing their games.
Was it Hibs, St Johnstone or Kelly?
I think it would have been Kelly.
It was Hibs.
Hibs. Was it Hibs?
Aye, because they were miles
Oh,
off.
right,
Remember?
and then they started like climbing
They were
up.
like second bottom.
That's right.
The Heckenbottom.
Heckenbottom. That's
Heckies,
right. That's
that
right.
was-
Well, I done well there. I'll take that.
You
Good
did
performance.
alright.
I done alright. Aye.
Respectable.
So
You,
yeah.
on the other hand, it's not been a good day at the
I
office
got
for you,
2
is it?
out of 4. I'm not
2 out of
including the
5.
true and false.
You're not including that.
No. And 2 my
didn't
wrong
listen.
answers were the same answer.
Because you didn't
Official.
listen to the question before you answered it.
Just try to throw a spanner in the works, man.
You, you were the spanner. I'm sorry.
Well, Barry, who can throw next?
Sorry. We are left from that angle.
It's always good to play the quiz for a change. I enjoy it. I enjoy showing off my knowledge.
Well, let's get a proper quiz on the go then.
Proper
10
quiz.
rounds.
10 rounds. I mean, I'm telling you, we're going to get a at some point this year. I'm going to sit down and get the Friday crew, the Monday. Blah blah blah.
Well, it's all the other place.
Big,
So
I know,
just
Big fat quiz of the season.
throw them out the-
quiz. Oh, big fat
we
quiz
should
of
do
the
that, by
season,
the
that's
way. That
good.
would be good.
That's a shit.
We need someone a bit bigger to host
But
it.
see, that's the thing. When you do these things, do you do it like a proper one?
Babatunde.
You have like a.
We need to get somebody in to host.
Babatunde.
But do you have like a Babatunde?
Aye.
But do you get like a general knowledge round and then like a Scottish football round?
Aye,
and
well,
like
have you been to the Clyde One quiz?
No.
In Tennant's Brewery?
No, I've never been there.
You do a Prem
They
round,
like
a Championship
10
round, a League 1 round, a League 2 round, an International round.
The first one
There's
I
5
went
rounds
to,
for a
remember
start.
Matt Brown that played for Rangers
Ah,
Celtic?
yeah,
His
yeah.
team won it.
Did they?
Aye,
brilliant.
everybody was shouting,
I'd
it's a
love to have,
fucking
like,
fix, because half the questions were about you, you cunt.
How many goals they conceded?
Cause I'd love that, like, wee general knowledge round where I just smoke you up.
Mate,
Mate, I'm a
don't
quiz
get,
champ,
don't
right?
get Air United,
Yeah.
right?
Right, listen to me. See in higher geography, we done higher. I done
No,
two.
higher geography,
Right, listen,
oh,
higher geography.
I know what the capital
No,
is,
it's not higher geography every week. We done for 2 years. For 2 years,
Aye.
we done a quiz every week, general knowledge quiz every Friday. I won every one of them for 2 years, bar one, because I was cheated that week. Because
What
I was
a doc.
Cheated.
Slow clap.
Telling you, I'd show you up. The only person that has potential to beat me.
The only person you show up is yourself and you do it every week, so go and turn that camera off and let's end this shit.
Oh, that's fucking hell.
That's naughty, innit?
Naughty. Ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe.
You talk a good game, but we'll see.
I know it.
We'll see. We'll see.
You're building yourself up for a fall,
All
man.
talk.
That's good.
Fur coat, no knickers.
Aye.
God, no knickers.
All Bart, no bite.
Right, ladies and gents, like and subscribe if you're on Spotify. Make sure to follow the show and give it a share. And we'll see you all next time.